𝗪shi TV production. Your only island TV channel.
Ating Seventh-day Adventist Church. And now on po, proceed po tayo kay Sister Maria Valentina Rebollos.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes con ustedes. Iyo hindi de Basilan, pero I love Basilan. That's why I am here. And it's almost my second year staying in Isabela. Thank you. When I was asked to come over to share, cuando ya pedi conmigo man share about women of the Holy Scriptures, I was like in a whirlwind. Dolya liba conmigo el viento bien lejos gayon, no? Because to talk about women in the Scriptures, it will take years. And more so, the presentation would take 2 hours, but I'm given 20 minutes. So what I can do is just to read. It is a privilege for us as women and as member of a community wherein we serve as a congregation of women, but we will not be speaking only about ourselves as women, but we see, like the presentation, the women are the ones who were instruments only of God. We never are the heroes. We are the instruments of God. That's why the portrayals I have of these people is about how they were the instruments of God's message to humanity. Hindi lang sa Islam, hindi lang sa mga Jews, or to the Christians. That's why I chose Sarah, because this is one of the person known to everyone. Ang gusto ko lang talaga kay Sarah is she has that personality of always ready to help. Always on hand, no? Pero I remember when we were doing some readings on women, maraming mga writers, even in the 4th century, they were talking about how women are obstacles to their holiness. I hope we are not obstacles to your holiness, kasi mahirap po yung maging obstacle because we all want to be holy, no? Kahit na yung mga bata, we are teaching them to know God and fear God regardless of what name we use for God. Di po ba? Parang napakaseryoso ng mga, siguro masyado silang holy. Napakaseryoso ng mga mukha, no? Actually, we are all brothers and sisters. Regardless of our creed, whether we like it or not, we are, no? Wala po tayong pagkakaiba. We fear, we have tensions, we also have some diseases. We all share our humanity. Kaya po, lahat po tayo ay kasama ng mga taong pangalang nakasulat dito. Tayo po ay isa sa kanila. Only that we differ in the time zones. Iba yung nasa Amerika, iba yung nasa Latin America, iba din tayo dito sa Asia. But the beauty of speaking about women is that we all were born from a woman. Wala namang ditong hindi pinanganak na galing sa babae, di ba? Yes or no? Yung mga iba siguro hindi, kasi hindi sila sumasagot eh. But I believe, and I still a witness that the Islam loves their mother very much. I saw it, and I still repeat this story because I admired Bin Laden in all his history, the love he has for his mother. You cannot imagine such tenderness of a son to a mother. That's why when I chose Sarah, and the Jewish martyr, because she's a mother of 7, Gomer, Esther, Mary of Magdala, a woman who gave all, that is a widow, and Mary the chosen man. I will not be able to talk to them about them all this time, no, because I think I have 10 minutes. But then I would like to start with Sarah. Please, next slide, please. This is Sarah. She is an advanced age lady. And we know very well that Sarah, hindi naman siguro totoong picture ito ni Sarah, no? But then I got it as that manifest the real intention of presenting her as the wife of Abraham. Next slide, please. In Genesis 18:10-15, you can read from there, I highlighted Sarah laughed within herself. Bakit siya napatawa? In the previous picture, you have seen 3 men speaking, the previous picture, and Sarah looking behind the curtain. Alam nating lahat yung story. Do we know the story? Okay. From that story, 3 men appeared in the tent of Abraham. But these 3 men were unknown people. And the Christians believed. Sabi niya, naalala ko when I was in high school, they used to say, mga tausog doon sa neighbors namin, maas na kami, di na makajari. No? I think that is the very term that Sarah would use. No? To bear a child at 90 years old is almost impossible. But it happened because of the presence of God in her life. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Wala naman siguro, no? Kasi sabi natin, wala nang pag-asa yan, kahit mga doktor, wala nang pag-asa, mamamatay na yan. But God has His way. Sometimes, binubuhay pa nga yung patay, di ba? So, I think this Genesis 18:10-15 is one example that God overpowers everything that we consider power. He has all His might. Next slide, please. The characteristics of Sarah. She is beautiful, strong, smart, upright, supportive, God-fearing. Ang pinakamagandang niya dyan is supportive. Very supportive of Abraham. She went away, followed her with the journey on to the different towns that they crossed over. Well, she is the wife of Abraham, was sister in Egypt. Tinuring siyang kapatid lang dahil takot sila. Dahil napakaganda ni Sarah, takot si Abraham na magiging asawa siya ng iba. So she pretended to be, well, Abraham told her, you pretend to be my sister. That's why I wrote it there, so that you would understand that Sarah played some roles that she doesn't even want. She was childless, but journeyed with Abraham to the land of Canaan. This exemplifies God's constancy. Hindi nagbabago ang Diyos. Women became role models here because of their love for God, first and foremost. It's not because they were great, they were beautiful. It's because God has His fidelity to His people. And amidst all the circumstances of life, tayo lang ang nagbabago, ang Diyos hindi. That's why it's one lesson that we can learn, that even the people of the olden times can still teach the new generation about the beautiful things of fidelity, which is very volatile and very, very thin line today in our society. Next po. I don't know if people will speak about Gomer in such a crowd, because Gomer is one very example of a prostitute. I'm very sorry for the regions who do not accept such kind of word, but I want to speak about the humanity of humans. No? Paano sila naging tao? You can see a father carrying a child. But then this is also a figure of a well-paid prostitute carried by the customer. Next slide. I hope you will not be scandalized. In Hosea 1:2-7, it says, so I bought her for 15 shekels of silver. Maano to? Maraming pera ito, no? Because if you have to buy 15 shekels, you can buy like a barn already. No? A barn of wheat. Pero Hosea paid twice the price Gomer was worth it. Because in this story of Gomer, I will not tell the story or the whole story, because Gomer is a very pretty lady. She constantly goes out. She's very vain. She wears jewelry, put perfumes, and runs away. But Hosea, the prophet Hosea, was so in love with Gomer. And each time Gomer would go away, he will find and find her along the streets or behind different houses with another man. But this person, this Gomer, constantly goes back to Hosea. But Hosea pays her price every time twice. Parang binabayaran siya ng mas mahal. This example, I got this person as a sign of the faithfulness of God. Paano naging masyadong maunawain ang Diyos sa atin? Because every time we run away from His commandments, we do things against His will, we are not acting in accordance to His commands, this is the very Gomer we play before God. The very Gomer that we are portraying in our lives as sinners. We try to run away, to use our power, our beauty, our might, our intelligence, to run away. But God constantly calls us back. Parati niyang tinatawag tayo ulit. Always ready to take us back. Kahit na nanggaling na sa ibang lalaki, so to say, no? Yung ba, katulad ng mga mag-asawa, pagka nakaroon ng relasyon ng iba, ayaw nang tanggapin, di ba? Pero ang Diyos hindi po ganyan pagka tayo nakasala. I'm not saying that we are all prostitutes, no? Please don't get me wrong. But then the kind of prostitution spoken here is not a physical prostitution. It is an emotional prostitution that we do. Yung parati tayong nakakasala dahil ginagawa natin yung hindi dapat. Anything that is against the command of God is really in itself a prostitution to God's commands. Kasi hindi po tugma yun eh. Next slide, please. Gomer has this characteristic. She's beautiful. That's why she's very vain, attractive, insatiable, quick to forget. Insatiable, sinasabi ko dito, the insatiability of men, wala po na pwedeng makakasabi sa tao na enough is enough. Hindi katulad ng song, You're Never Enough, no? Di ba yung song na You're Never Enough, hindi ka sapat. May mga movie din yung tinimbang ka, ngunit kulang, no? Kasi never enough. Kahit na marami ng pera, gusto niya ng kotse. Pagkatapos ng kotse, gusto niya malaking bahay. Pagkatapos ng malaking bahay, gusto niya mansyon. Gusto niya arian ng lahat ng tao sa kanya. That is insatiability of men. We are never enough for anything. So sana po, ito yung example ni Gomer. Although I remember Orihen spoke about this in the Song of Songs, also about how Hosea was sometimes apprehensive to go and find her. And yet God commanded Hosea, go and find her and love her again. That is how God continuously loves us even if we are sinners. Never forget that you are never alone. God loves you even if we are sinning again and again and again. Kasi kung ang Diyos ay mapapagod sa atin, ano nang mangyayari sa atin? Di ba? So God is always forgiving. Walang sala, sabi nga, walang sala na hindi niya mabubura. If we only have to ask for forgiveness. His immeasurable love for His people, willing to gain us back no matter the price. Kaya kahit 2 beses pa siyang magbayad ng mga ginagawa ni Hosea o ni Gomer, Hosea would continuously buy Gomer because God's law commands him to do so. Next slide, please. Pagkasobra na ako sa time, please. This Jewish martyr, she is the mother of 7 sons. Ito po yung isang time na merong persecution, a persecution from the king when he commanded all the people to burn down every houses, kill every son who doesn't obey to his command. And it was this Jewish martyr woman in Maccabees. Next slide, please. Sure. In 2 Maccabees 7:22 to 29, it says, I was not the one who gave life, and breath and put together each part of your body. Kasi doon sa persecution, ang mother was the very one who persuaded his children to be faithful to God despite of the persecution. Hindi basta-bastang magsasabing, ayaw na namin. So we go on to what the king wants, to spare our lives. So the mother insisted on putting on the right understanding of faith and love and confidence in God above persecution. Kahit na mamatay sila, to remain their love for God, hindi lang dahil sa buhay nila. That's why we have martyrs, even in the Islam, no? There are martyrs, the Jewish also, and the Christians. We do have, because of the belief we had and the confidence that God never deserts us. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the characteristic of the mother of 7 sons is she's very courageous. Hindi siya natatakot o pinatakot yung mga anak niya para ma-spare lang ang buhay nila. Alam ko yung mga nanay, mahal na mahal nila yung mga anak nila, no? No mother will hate the son just for anything. Pero itong mother na ito, because of her characteristic as mother, she gave up all the desires and pleasures of the world because she wants that her children will be with God, not with things. Malinaw po na ipinapakita na ito po yung example ng assurance of a mother will always love her children. Okay? Unwavering faith and love her sons till death and help them sustain in their faith and trust in God. Ito po. God stands by us in all our journey. He provides and sustains us. Ito po yung dapat nating alalahanin pag tayo ay nalulungkot. Never forget that in spite of our poverty, in spite of our needs or our scarcity in life, God never deserts us. He provides for us through our neighbors, through our friends. Kahit na walang makain, kasi pag makita tayo ng tao na walang makain, they will share to us without even asking. And that is God's way of touching people to provide for us. One more thing. Please, next slide. This is Queen Esther, the powerful people of their time. Queen Esther was Hannasa, remember? Hannasa, she was not a queen before. But because she was raised by an uncle, like mga uncles, no, Aki? Kuidagat ko ng mga sobrina. Because her uncle Mordecai was the gatekeeper of the king. And so he always watches over Esther to see and serve the king, no? But then one day she was chosen to be, because there was a demand for a new queen. They all lined up because she was pretty. They all lined up until she was chosen. But she was chosen not because of her beauty, because of her wit. Kasi ang kanyang gusto ay to save the people who cannot save themselves. So she worked hard for it. Pinakita niya na God is with her because she always commands people to be complacent to things that are so very hostile. So Esther interceded for her people, begged the king to let her spare the people that are under the king's rule and under the king's command, and sentenced Haman because Haman reported that Mordecai has to kneel down before the king. But then Mordecai refused and said, I only bow before God, not before men. And so yun ang naging gist ng kanilang conversations until all things went on, and Queen Esther defended her country and became the Queen of Persia. Her qualities are, almost to end. Next slide, please. In Esther 7, you can find it. I have found a favor in thy sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given me at my petition and the people request. Kaya ito po yung kanyang standard banner. She is the intercessor of the people. Parang siya yung third person, no? To speak to the king. Next slide. We have to be people who are courageous, no? Parang maraming takutin sa atin. Isang putok lang, magtataguan na tayo, no? But then Esther is an example to trust as the intercessor for many, to trust God in all things, to be humble and obedient. God saves the innocent people. His abiding presence in those who suffer enlightens His witnesses. I would love to share more, pero I know and I respect time. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much po, Sister Rebollos. That's a clear...
𝗕𝗓𝒄 TV Production. Your only island TV channel.